So I already said that I don't trust him, and you're asking me what could he do for me to trust him in the next 3 months. You don't trust.
Dana White has finally snapped, and this time it's personal. After Jon Jones dropped shocking revelations about the UFC's inner workings, the usually unshakable president couldn't hold back. Dana's fiery response proved one thing: the truth hit a nerve. Let's get into it. The breaking point. What began as the most anticipated heavyweight unification bout in UFC history ended with Dana, White's voice cracking, eyes glistening, and an announcement that stunned the MMA world. Jon Jones is officially retired. But how did we get here? How did the relationship between the UFC's most dominant champion and its relentless president crumble from optimistic promises to bitter public feuds? This is the untold story of power, pride, and the personal cost of being the greatest of all time. Picture this. It's March 9th, 2025. Dana White is on top of the world. Fresh off UFC 299, he's at the post-fight press conference, when the question everyone's been waiting for finally lands. Will Jon Jones fight Tom Aspinall?
Jon Jones definitely wants to fight. Just when and where is what we're working on now.
Do you feel confidence? I think you said Jon.
I'm very confident
summer on first
that fight happens. Yeah.
Summer.
Yeah.
The confidence was sky high. Dana White wasn't just optimistic, he was guaranteeing it. Behind the scenes, negotiations were reportedly moving smoothly, with Jones set to pocket a jaw-dropping $20 to $30 million guarantee. The fight had everything fans could dream of. An undisputed champion who hadn't stepped into the Octagon since his dominant third-round knockout of Stipe Miocic at UFC 309 in November 2024. An interim champion calling him out for months, proving he wasn't just holding the seat warm. For the fans, this was the moment they'd been waiting for. Jon Jones, undisputed heavyweight champion, widely regarded as the greatest of all time. Tom Aspinall, interim champ, hungry, undefeated in his climb. This wasn't just a title unification, this was a legacy fight. But then the tone shifted. By mid-March, optimism began to sour. Reports surfaced of tension over fight terms. Jones was allegedly demanding an unprecedented $30 million flat fee plus pay-per-view points, a move White viewed as excessive, given Jones's inactivity and past controversies. On March 21st, White gave a cautious update during a media appearance. The fight was done, but no official announcement followed. Behind that vague phrasing lurked the unspoken truth. Lingering hurdles like Jones's recovery, scheduling conflicts, and mounting doubts. In Dana White speak, an ellipsis says everything and nothing good. Then the leaks began. Insiders revealed Jones was eyeing a potential super fight with Alex Pereira, seemingly ignoring Aspinall entirely. For White, it was a gut punch. He was trying to deliver the fight fans demanded, while Jones was already looking past it. By March 25th, Aspinall's frustration boiled over. On his podcast, he accused Jones of ducking the fight and wasting the division's time. Social media erupted. White tried damage control on March 27th via Instagram Live. "We're close. Jones wants this as much as anyone," but his tone lacked the earlier enthusiasm. Then came the cryptic tweets. On March 28th, Jones posted, "Sometimes the biggest fights aren't the ones you think." Speculation exploded. Was he talking Pereira? His legacy? Retirement? Fan petitions demanding Jones be stripped of his title flooded the internet, amassing over 10,000 signatures in days. The narrative was shifting. Jones was no longer seen as the GOAT protecting his legacy. He was seen as a champion holding the division hostage. If March was hope turning into frustration, May would become frustration turning into fury. By May 2025, Aspinall negotiations had collapsed entirely, leaving White facing a public relations nightmare issued veiled threats to strip Jon Jones of his heavyweight title, a move that would end his 800-plus day reign and unify the belts under Aspinall. On May 16th, during a UFC Kansas City press conference, Dana White initially doubled down on his commitment. He guaranteed Jon Jones will 100% fight in 2025, explicitly naming Aspinall as the opponent. But behind the scenes, sources reported White was furious over Jones's repeated delays, including a minor elbow flare-up and demands for a larger cut of UFC 3.12's gate revenue. The breaking point came on May 21st, when White held an impromptu press conference in Las Vegas, this time with no sugarcoating.
I mean, did he say he wants to retire? He didn't say, I'm going to retire, I'm hanging it up, it's been great, everybody. Thanks a lot for all the years, see you later. He said, I'm going to take some time off. And I'm going to, no. First of all, that decision that happens, right? You don't just say, hey, I'm going to take a while off, maybe I'll be back, maybe I won't. You owe it to the fans, you owe it to that belt, unless you're going to retire.
This wasn't just a negotiating tactic. White was seriously considering stripping arguably the greatest fighter of all time of his championship. Think about that for a moment. This is the same Dana White who had defended Jon Jones through multiple drug test failures, arrests, and scandals. Now he was publicly threatening to take away his belt. Meanwhile, a petition had launched on May 18th by MMA fans demanding Jones's title be vacated. By May 25th, it had already gathered 50,000 signatures. The reasons were blunt. Jones clearly had no intention of fighting. White acknowledged the petition on May 22nd during a SiriusXM interview, calling it understandable frustration while defending Jones as the GOAT who deserved some leeway. But by May 30th, his tone had shifted. Speaking to reporters at a UFC event, he said, "Fans are right to be pissed. I've bent over backward for Jon, but enough is enough. Strip him. It's on the table if he keeps playing games." Jones fired back on social media on May 23rd, tweeting, "Dana knows my value. Threats won't change that." The feud was no longer private. It was unfolding in real time for millions to witness. The petition ballooned to 130,000 signatures by May 28th, citing Jones's history of legal issues and fight pullouts as proof of his unreliability. Internal emails leaked in early June revealed that White had already begun contingency planning for Aspinall versus Serial Gain. The writing was on the wall. Tensions peaked on June 19, 2025, when White issued a firm 2-week deadline for Jones to sign the Aspinall contract.
I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out over the next couple weeks. But yeah, if we can't get this fight done, we'll move on quickly.
I was going to say, Dana, my last thought on that. How long are you going to wait? I mean, how long is it worth waiting
I said
for?
a couple weeks.
A couple weeks?
Yeah, we'll have answers in the next couple weeks.
This ultimatum followed months of back and forth. White revealed that Jones had verbally agreed to the deal, but was now hesitating over specifics like medical clearances and a $28 million purse. The deadline was non-negotiable, tied firmly to UFC 312's promotional timeline. On June 19th, Jones responded defiantly via Instagram Live. He claimed, "Tom Aspinall doesn't excite me. I'm eyeing bigger things," while offering a vague retirement update. "If the UFC doesn't value me, maybe it's time to walk." His comments, viewed over 2 million times, sparked immediate backlash. Aspinall retweeted, finally admitting he was frustrated, while White responded on social media, calling Jones's stance crazy, and revealing he hadn't even seen the posts amid his busy schedule. The deadline further amplified the petition to strip Jones, down at 150,000 signatures, forcing White to react publicly. On the evening of June 19th, UFC executives reportedly held emergency meetings to pivot toward Aspinall versus Serial Gain. The impasse was complete. Jones's ambivalence, driven by burnout and a desire for a Pereira matchup, had eroded White's trust entirely. The saga reached its dramatic climax on June 21, 2025, in Baku, Azerbaijan, during a post-UFC Fight Night press conference. White appeared tired, emotional, and then said the words that sent shockwaves through the sport. "The fight is done." Jones accepted the deal, then changed his mind. "Nothing we can do if he doesn't want to fight." This was not the brash, cursing promoter fans were used to. It was a man genuinely hurt. White confirmed the belt unification, immediately promoting Aspinall and teasing his next defense against Gain at UFC 321. Later that evening, Jones formalized his retirement through a heartfelt post. "Today, I'm officially announcing my retirement from the UFC. This decision comes after a lot of reflection. I want to express my deepest gratitude to the fans, my team, and Dana for the journey." In a follow-up statement to MMA Fighting, he elaborated, "The pressure, the demands, it wasn't aligning anymore. I'm at peace walking away as the GOAT." The announcement stunned the MMA world, with Jones's post amassing over 5 million views in just hours. White praised Jones as the greatest ever, but lamented the bitter end to a tumultuous chapter in UFC history. The division's stagnation had cost the UFC millions in lost revenue. Fans were divided. Some celebrated Aspinall's elevation, while others accused Jones of quitting under pressure. The fallout severed the once unbreakable bond between White and Jones. After years of defending Jones through scandals, White admitted it hurt to lose that trust. If you thought Jones's retirement marked the end of their saga, you would have been mistaken. What came next revealed just how deep the wounds ran, and how a historic UFC event at the White House would become the battleground for one of MMA's most personal feuds. Less than a month after Jones retired, White delivered a stinging snub during the UFC 318 post-fight press conference in Las Vegas. A reporter asked about the UFC's landmark White House event planned for June 2026 to celebrate America's 250th anniversary, an unprecedented spectacle with weigh-ins at the Lincoln Memorial and fights on the South Lawn. When asked about potential headliners, White didn't hesitate.
Can't risk putting him in big positions in a big spot and have something go wrong.
The reasoning was brutal and specific. Jones's history of unreliability, from the Aspinall pullout and past injuries to drug test failures and arrests, made him a liability for such a high-stakes spectacle. White contrasted this with trusted fighters like Conor McGregor, hinting that a McGregor-Chandler rematch would be a safer bet. But here's what made it personal. White noted he had bent over backward for Jones before, but the retirement had stretched his trust too far. This wasn't just business, it was emotional. Jones, who had hinted at a potential unretirement for the event, was blindsided. Reports that Jones had re-entered USADA testing in early July signaled his intent to return. Yet White's comments, viewed live by 1.2 million fans, sparked immediate debate. For context, this White House event wasn't just another UFC card, it was history. The UFC on the biggest stage possible, representing American combat sports at the nation's 250th birthday celebration. And Dana White was publicly saying the greatest fighter of all time couldn't be trusted to be part of it. The day after White's snub, Jones issued a measured but pointed response on July 21st via X at an MMA Junkie interview. He acknowledged the Aspinall fallout as a factor. "I stretched his trust, but I've earned my spot as the GOAT. Fans want me there." He shared training footage from Albuquerque captioning, "Proving I'm still in the game," which garnered 3 million views and reignited the Let Bones fight trend. In the interview, Jones delved deeper. "Dana and I go way back. He's like family, but this feels personal. I'll show him how serious I am." He floated alternatives, like a Jones-Pereira bout for the card, emphasizing his status as an American icon for the patriotic event. White did not respond directly, but sources said he viewed it as posturing. The exchange humanized Jones, shifting some fan sympathy his way, but it underscored the irreparable rift. Privately, White told confidants that Jones had burned the bridge. If the July snub wasn't clear enough, White doubled down during the UFC 319 post-fight press conference on August 17, 2025 in Miami, and this time, he used numbers to make his point.
Let me ask you, what do you think Jon would do in the next couple of months that would make me trust putting him on the White House card?
Well, I would not trust him, but I would like to see him fight Aspinall on that card down the road.
So I already said that I don't trust him, and you're asking me what could he do for me to trust him in the next 3 months? You don't trust him.
This hyperbolic dismissal came as White hyped the event as the baddest card ever, name-dropping McGregor and Khamzat, Chimaev, but noticeably omitting Jones. He tied it directly to Jones's retirement flip-flops, saying, "I guaranteed the fight last year. Now this, no thanks, $1,000,000,000."
Said Jon Jones called you, and he apologized. What was that conversation like?
Well, it wasn't a conversation. He reached out, he wrote like a text saying, "Listen, sorry how this all played out or whatever. You know, I want to fight at the White House. I'm serious about that."
Let that sink in. That's not probably not. That's not we'll see, that's Dana. White declaring there's a better chance of winning the Powerball jackpot 3 times in a row than Jon Jones headlining this historic White House event. The odds remark went viral, spawning memes and mock betting slips across social media. But underneath the humor was a serious question. Had the relationship between the UFC's biggest star and its president truly deteriorated this badly? On August 18th, Jones clapped back on X, $1,000,000,000. I'll take that bet. Still training. Doors not closed. He posted a workout montage, insisting White had been excited about the fight before and suggesting negotiations could reopen. The exchange between August 16th and 18th highlighted White's frustration peaking, even as ratings for UFC 319 spiked 15% thanks to the drama. In the strangest way, their feud was good for business, but terrible for their relationship. Then on September 12, 2025, something unexpected happened. White disclosed during an interview on the Zach Gelb show that Jones had texted him a private apology.
He seems like he is not going to back down and allow for him to be on his White House card. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't know that I agree. I think I would let him fight. I think if he wants to fight, I would let him fight, because for as much as mixed martial arts is a global sport.
White acknowledged the gesture, calling it classy, but he remained steadfast. I need people I can count on. I know who they are and who they aren't. He revealed that Jones had reached out after UFC 320. April Cyrus admitted that the pullout had stretched their trust, but White prioritized reliability for the historic card, ultimately favoring McGregor. Jones confirmed the outreach indirectly in a September 13th tweet. Owned my part. Now let's talk legacy. The apology was a rare moment of vulnerability for Jon Jones, a man whose career had been built on confidence, some might say arrogance. For him to apologize was significant, but for Dana White it wasn't enough. Though sincere, the apology didn't change White's mind, who later stated it altered nothing amid ongoing negotiations for McGregor versus Chandler 2. The fallout from June lingered like a ghost haunting both men. By September 27, 2025, the MMA world was buzzing with one question. Would Dana White finally cave?
But the one thing that I never thought in a million years would happen, happened. Jon Jones said, I'm not fighting Chael Sonnen with 8 days' notice. Again, something that's never happened in UFC history. A guy who's a world champion and considered one of the pound-for-pound best turns down a fight. So that has never happened either.
Former two-division champion Henry Cejudo made a bold prediction on his podcast. He argued that an event of this scale, projected at 10 million PPV buys, demanded Jon Jones despite the risks, citing Dana White's history of bending for stars like McGregor. Daniel Cormier echoed the sentiment on September 21st, urging that Jones be allowed to fight with contractual clauses to protect the UFC. The logic was compelling. Jones is the biggest draw in UFC history. His fights consistently shattered PPV records. He's an American icon, controversial, yes, but undeniably legendary, making him the perfect representative for a card celebrating America's 250th birthday. Who better to showcase American combat sports than the greatest fighter of all time? White dismissed the chatter on September 28th via ESPN, insisting, "No cave, Connor's my guy." Yet insiders noted that Jones's return to testing and mounting fan campaigns were applying pressure. Cejudo's prediction gained traction, and betting odds began to shift. Vegas bookies went from refusing bets to offering 8-1 odds on Jones appearing on the card. The tension was building. While this phase teased potential reconciliation, White's resolve held, keeping the feud alive into October. By late September, the question wasn't whether Jones deserved to be on the card. It was whether White's pride would allow it. What became clear from July through September 2025 was that this wasn't just business, it was personal. Every statement, every response, every social media post carried emotional weight far beyond typical promoter-fighter dynamics. Dana White had spent over a decade defending Jon Jones through drug test failures, arrests and scandals that would have ended other fighters' careers. He had moved events across states to accommodate Jones, fought commissions to get him licensed, and paid millions in legal fees. And now, for what White saw as the biggest event in UFC history, he was saying no. For Jones, the White House snub cut deeper. After becoming the youngest champion in UFC history, clearing out 2 divisions, and being universally recognized as the GOAT, he still wasn't trusted. He still wasn't respected. The September 12th apology showed Jones understood his role in the breakdown. But understanding isn't the same as fixing things. Some bridges once burned can't be rebuilt. To truly understand the explosion between Dana White and Jon Jones in 2025, we need to go back, because this wasn't their first conflict, not even their fifth. Their relationship has been a roller coaster of loyalty, betrayal, defense, and disappointment, stretching over a decade. The pattern is clear. This was always destined to end badly. It all started to crack in September 2012 with the cancellation of UFC 151. The event was set to be headlined by Jon Jones defending his light heavyweight title against legendary wrestler and former Strikeforce champion Dan Henderson. Projected PPV buys were over 700,000, huge money for the UFC. But 8 days before the event, Henderson suffered a severe knee injury and was out. Dana White, known for his improvisational problem-solving, immediately pivoted. He offered Jones a short-notice bout against Chael Sonnen, who had been campaigning for a title shot, and accepted within hours. After consulting with his camp, led by renowned trainer Greg Jackson, Jones declined. He cited inadequate preparation, arguing that media obligations, travel, and strategic adjustments left him with only 3 to 4 days of actual fight camp. White's reaction was explosive. During an emergency conference call on August 23rd, he absolutely lost it. White called Jon Jones's refusal to fight disgusting, blaming him for murdering UFC 151. He highlighted the human cost: 11 undercard fighters idled and an estimated $5 to $7 million lost in production, venue, and marketing expenses. White labeled Jones selfish and Greg Jackson a scumbag, claiming the trainer's influence had derailed multiple events. In a press release, he declared, UFC 151 will be remembered as the event Jon Jones and Greg Jackson murdered. This incident marked the first major crack in their relationship. White, who had long championed Jones as the baddest man on the planet, was now publicly tearing him down. It foreshadowed future clashes over leverage and accountability. Even before UFC 151, there were warning signs. On December 5, 2009, at the Ultimate Fighter Season 10 finale, Jones suffered his first professional loss, a disqualification against Matt Hamill for illegal downward elbows. At just 22, Jones was 10-0 and considered the light heavyweight division's future. Against Hamill, he dominated, but a flurry of elbows, illegal under unified rules, ended the fight at 4:14 of round 2. Jones was devastated, sobbing backstage over the blemish on his undefeated record. White immediately rallied behind him, blasting referee Yves Levine and lobbying the Nevada State Athletic Commission to overturn the ruling. This established a pattern: White as Jones's shield, defending him relentlessly, but at the cost of perceived favoritism, fuel for future rifts. Fast forward to 2016 and the failed drug test scandal just days before UFC 200. On July 6th, USADA notified the UFC that Jones had tested positive for clomiphene and other banned substances, often used in post-steroid cycles. White, deep in promotion for the biggest card ever, Jones versus. Daniel Cormier was blindsided. He pulled Jones from the bout at a frantic press conference, his frustration visible. The removal cost the UFC an estimated $10 million in marketing and lost PPV revenue. Privately, White raged at USADA for the timing, but publicly, he tempered his support. John's a great kid, but this is on him. Actions have consequences. He also began questioning Jones's maturity. He's the best, but he keeps doing dumb shit. This incident eroded White's unwavering defense and planted seeds of resentment over repeated scandals. If UFC 200 was painful, UFC 232 was a nightmare. On December 23, 2018, just 6 days before the event, USADA flagged trace metabolites in Jones's system. The Nevada State Athletic Commission refused to license him. White, furious at what he called NSAC's overreach, scrambled to relocate the 13-fight card to Los Angeles, costing $2 to $3 million. Though he defended Jones publicly, mocking the NSAC as the Mickey Mouse Commission, the incident strained relations and deepened White's exasperation. The explosive Twitter feud on May 31, 2020, was a rare public implosion. Jones lobbied for a heavyweight move, demanding pay or release. White, balancing COVID-19 financial strains, offered $5 to $8 million, but dismissed heavyweight guarantees. The tension boiled over, with personal barbs exchanged over legal history, PPV draws, and loyalty. By morning, Jones officially vacated the light heavyweight title. White expressed heartbreak. "This kills me. Jon's family to me, but he's burning bridges." Old wounds resurfaced in August 2024 around the never-materialized super fight with Francis Ngannou. White claimed Jones was ready, but Ngannou ran. Jones confirmed White's account on social media, while Ngannou disputed it, accusing White of gaslighting. The feud underscored White's control versus Jones's demands and cemented the fight as MMA's one that got away. Looking at the full history from 2009 to 2025, a pattern emerges. Jones does something controversial. White publicly defends him while privately frustrated. The UFC loses money or credibility. White's patience erodes. Jones feels unappreciated or constrained. Tensions explode publicly. Temporary reconciliation occurs. The cycle repeats. Each incident added weight. UFC 151 showed Jones had leverage. Drug tests proved he was unreliable. Twitter wars revealed he could burn bridges. Retirement demonstrated he refused to play by White's rules. By 2025, White had spent over 15 years defending Jones through scandals, paying millions in legal fees, moving entire events, and fighting commissions. For the UFC's most important event, White House 250, he said no. Trust, once broken repeatedly, cannot be repaired. Not with apologies, not with training videos, not with social media campaigns. The 2025 explosion wasn't a singular event, it was the culmination of 16 years of loyalty, betrayal, second chances, and disappointment. Perhaps inevitable, perhaps necessary. Both men could now move forward. White with his card of fighters he trusts, and Jones with his legacy intact, retired as the greatest of all time in his own eyes, if not on paper. The question remains, was it worth it?